We are live. We are absolutely direct with Diana Bukowska, who is the leader of the Limelight Hub, who really allow leaders and experts to speak with confidence, power, and connect beyond the screen using specific techniques developed in the acting space. They create workshops that actually allow people to make fast progress to master public speaking, and for corporates as well who want to develop team confidence. Actress by vocation who has used that to help others create experiences to help them to shine on stage. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Jay.
I'm
It's such a
sorry, I
pleasure.
messed up your surname. I forgot to kind of get the confirmation, and I realized, oops. You know what I
That's
mean?
totally fine. It was great.
Yeah.
Bukowska. That's totally correct. Yeah.
Bukowska, amazing. Thank you. Janky. No,
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very excited.
no worries. I love your energy, by the way.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah. Energetics, as you know, when you're on stage, non-verbal is 80%, maybe 80, 70% of the communication. So they feel the energetics.
Yes. Plus, you need to give more when you're behind the screen, right?
100%.
Because it's just the way you look.
Let me know, who is ideal for you? Who do you love serving?
I work with people who are afraid of public speaking. They have terrible stage fright. They don't want to share their ideas. They don't want to go on stage. They don't want to share whatever they want to share in meetings because they're terrified. So all kinds of people, most of the time, especially I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, I work a lot with startup founders who need to pitch, right, to get money for their startups. I work with tech professionals who know a lot about the technical side of businesses, but when they need to share something, they're scared and they freeze. And also I work with people on their interview presentations, because they know a lot about their field, but when they need to present to an interviewer or other person, they just don't know how to do it correctly, or they don't sound authentic and they can't be themselves in front of others. And that's a big thing too. So all kinds of people that need to present and they don't know how, and they are afraid of doing so.
You've hit upon an amazing opportunity, I think, in this age of AI. Authenticity becomes 2, 3, 4 times more important, because if everyone's creating the same AI images, AI slide decks, what's really going to make you stand out? People have their defenses, brother. AI picture, AI presentation, AI speech. So that's not actually going to be the differentiator.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot of people start with creating their scripts with ChatGPT or Claude or other LLMs, right? And then they just read them or memorize them word for word. And when they're performing it on stage or in front of others, it sounds robotic. They speak monotonously. It's not themselves. And they disconnect from the people they're talking to. And it's a huge trap, because you can pretend, you can teach ChatGPT or other Claude how to speak like you, but it's never going to be like you. It's impossible because it's a robot, right? It's not there yet. So you can do your best creating the best possible script with ChatGPT, but it's not going to sound like you at the end of the day. So that's why when I work with people, I start with creating the script with ChatGPT. That's okay. But then we learn how to convert it and make them speak in their own way with their own dynamics. And that's very passionate. I'm very passionate about this part of the work, how to give their voice back, stop hiding behind the script and starting talking to people in their own way.
Amazing. Speak to me about buyer behavior. Like, how does it differ in California and Poland in terms of the way people buy? Do you find Americans more open for business? What's the differences?
Let me tell you about one huge difference I noticed right away when I moved to the US. In Poland, people want you to be humble. You shouldn't say that you're the best of the best. You shouldn't say that you can't do something in a great way. You should say, yes, I can do it. I have experience in it, but I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
But when you move to the US, especially to the Silicon Valley, when you're an investor, you need to be like, hey, write this check. I'm totally sure about what I'm doing. I know exactly I'm the best of the best. Let's do it. And that's such a huge shift. Especially, I work a lot with non-native English speakers, because I experienced it myself when I moved to the US. I lost my confidence because I had to start presenting in a different language, in English, right? And I was very hard on myself. I was punishing myself for mistakes in my head. And I know how hard it is to gain this level of confidence presenting in your non-native language. So that's why I work a lot of non-native English speakers to just bring them this confidence back. So we can be like, okay, write this check for me. I know exactly what I'm doing and I have fantastic product to sell.
Amazing. How do you get visible? Obviously, I see you doing the offline workshops. How else are you getting visible? What else are you doing?
As for being visible, I think LinkedIn is the best platform for me right now. We are still pretty small. We started with Instagram, but the hard part about Instagram is that it's very hard to like break this glass ceiling in Instagram. You know the algorithm, you know how to do it, but then you just don't get it. And you can even post constantly, but you don't get to the point that it's satisfying to you as for the views and followers and stuff. Or you have a lot of views, but you don't have the followers, right? So LinkedIn is much easier for us because once people meet me, they want to work with me. They want to talk to me, especially meeting in person, meeting online. It's a different story. But Instagram wasn't our platform at all. It turned out to be not our platform. So we were focusing on LinkedIn nowadays, making connections, meeting people, and the more in person, the better, to be totally honest with you, because there's not a lot of activities that are in person. Everybody is online. And I believe when you want to present in front of others live, in person, you need to present and try and test in person in workshops with people, real people in a room.
Okay. No, that makes complete sense. Let me know in terms of sales. You obviously, we spoke before in the DMs, you mentioned in terms of the deals that you're enrolling. How are you enrolling clients into your program, sales-wise?
It starts with 30 minutes interview because every person is different. Every person has different needs. They need to present something else, something different. So I just ask them tons of questions on a meeting, 30 minutes. And then based on that, I prepare an offer that is special for them because I add the exercises I know that's going to work best for them. And I prepare 3 different tiers. They can go for a small package. They can go for the medium package and then can go for a VIP package. And then based on what I know about them, they decide which option would be best for them. That's when I get one-on-one clients. And with the group workshops, I just create a program I'm passionate about. And I know that there's need for programs like this. And then I advertise it on LinkedIn or any different, like on Instagram, different platforms. And then if people like it, they just buy it and they join my program. Or if they are not sure, I organize free events for them to just see, test me, look how I work, how I talk to people, what my framework is. And if they like it, they join the program.
Amazing. Talk to me about the acting. Like, did you act in Poland? Like, how did you meet Yulia? Like, what's the whole story behind that?
I started in 2015 with acting. I loved it as a teenager too. But I started studying professional acting when I was 20. And there's 5 Academy of Theater Arts in Poland. You need to go through audition to get there. I did it, and I have my master's degree in theater and film acting. I used to work in a TV show in Poland for many years. I used to work in film a little bit, in theater. That was my main source of income. I used to work in theater in Poland, in Wrocław, and then I moved to Warsaw. And it was great, but what I didn't like about this work was the industry itself. It's very brutal. Sometimes it's not about your skills at all. It's about the people you know. It's about the color of your eyes, your vibe, whatever it means for people, right? It's about going through auditions for hours, recording self-tapes, and nobody responds to that. So I started burning out in Poland. And when I moved to the US and I realized I have to go through the same thing again, starting from scratch in the industry I'm not a big fan of, I was looking for different opportunities for myself. And on the way, of course, I was doing some acting projects when I moved to the US as well, in the Bay Area. Nothing crazy, but, small things. And then I met Yulia, my co-founder, on the way. And she was like, Diana, I really want to work in acting. I used to work as an actor in Russia, but now I'm here. I want to know how to do that. Especially she's an immigrant too, so she wanted to know how the immigrants work in the US as actors. Does it really work? And I told her, like, Yulia, it's like everywhere else. You have to go through exactly the same thing, going through auditions, getting your talent agency. But yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. And she was like, Diana, I used to teach acting, used to conduct acting workshops in many different places. I used to conduct acting workshops in many different places. I used to work in one organization teaching healthy relationships and sexual harassment prevention. I was running a lot of workshops and people loved it. They loved the way I was presenting. I'm like, yeah, because I'm an actor and I have experience in that. So we realized that we can totally repurpose the skills we gained from working on stage and start teaching people how to do it in the right way. because a
Wow.
lot of people know their fields, but they don't know how to deliver their messages well. So that's how we came up with the idea of the Limelight Hub. And it's been a year for us. We're still very new. Yeah.
Amazing. No, that is great. Well done on the 1 year.
Thank you.
Let me know in terms of, I know public speaking is the number one fear. Why is it? Like, why have you found that is?
First of all, people think they either can do it or can't do it. Not many people treat it as a skill, like any other skill. When I get in a car for the first time, I'm not a perfect driver, right? So some people don't even try because it's scary and they think they're just not good at it. So that's the biggest fear, I would say. Then comparing each other, right? I'm worse than this speaker, but they don't ask themselves why. Because I've never trained. How can you be better than this person if you've never tried and you never trained? Probably this amazing speaker has years of experience in standing on stage, talking to people in many different areas, right? So that's why they're good. The third thing is not being able to release the nerves. And they don't know how to deal with the crazy amount of stress they experience on stage. And it's very discouraging. So when I work with people, I work with releasing the tension, releasing the stress, and teaching them how to deal with that amount of stress. And the last thing I would say is fear of judgment. There are going to be people more smart than I am. There are going to be people who are going to be judging me. There are going to be people who are going to be rude or think I'm silly, or maybe I'm going to say something wrong. Maybe I'm going to look foolish. Tons of different ideas about what can go wrong. So I would say these are the most common fears I hear from people.
Okay. Where do you want to be in 1 year?
1 year?
Yeah, 1 year from now. I know you've celebrated your first year. If I meet you again next year, what would have made it a great year?
Getting more visible, working with more people, organizing some more group in-person workshops, because that's the hardest, making people come in person and try. It's much easier to, even though there's more opportunities online, it's harder to sell workshops in person. So that would be my dream, to get, to meet more people, to work with more people, to get more reviews, to work with some startup accelerators, because I really like working with startup founders. So it would be great to have some supporters who have their teams already, who have their communities already. So we're just going to go there and create workshops and run workshops with them. That would be my goal.
Wow. What's the biggest block? Like, in terms of, I know that when I was starting with the women helping women scene in the US, helping women, I know I thought, how are they gonna take me? Like, a black guy from London helping in the women helping women space. And then I began to see I just need to add my own authenticity. So I taught in high school for 10 years, and so I created a whiteboard method to stop women from having to go through sales schools, and so they could sell visually. And so it's like, once I aligned all of that together, that offer could only fit me, and I created a little niche for myself. So that's how I overcame the block of, being that imposter. What's the block for you, and how do you overcome?
I would say it's time. I still have a daily job. I work as an eco-hero. I go to schools with environmental education. I have my speakers. We do it through music, through dance. It's performing, but for bigger groups of kids, 600, 500 kids every day. That's
Wow.
fantastic. I love this work. But it takes a lot of time and it's pretty flexible, but I don't have 8 hours a day for my business only. And
Wow.
also, I'm very impatient. I want to grow fast. I want to achieve my dreams fast. And when I don't get the results I want, I get discouraged. I'm like, is it really working? Am I really on the right path? So just really appreciating the process I'm going through right now, being okay that it's going slow, since I have the daily job as well, right? So I have 2 jobs basically right now. So it's
Yeah.
going to go slower, and that's a natural process, right? And really keeping the motivation, keeping going, that's what I want to focus on, and stop being so impatient and pushing too hard. I can do exactly the same things without that pressure I have on myself. So that would be my goal. That's my setback, definitely. This kind of impatient soul.
Yeah, it's what makes you the person you are, Diana. It's like you really care for this work, and so it's like, we all have to keep on being curious, having conversations, because I think that part is being killed by, let Claude do this for 1 hour. 1 hour, Claude will create this, that, and the other. It's making us lose our curiosity. and connection and skills. And so this is where I think you come in, helping people to tap into source and to tap into their magic, which I think is missing.
Yes, and this interpersonal connection is irreplaceable. You can't replace it with anything, especially with technology.
Yeah. And so as people double down on AI, I think I choose to double down on authenticity.
But also, from the other hand, as a small business owner, it's so helpful because I have my master's in performing arts, okay? I have no idea about business. So ChatGPT allowed me to understand many things faster.
Yeah.
To go through process of learning much faster.
Correct.
Because I had a thing to talk to about something that is connected with business I have no idea about. Some kind of advice. Of course, I know it makes mistakes. It's it's a robot. But at the same time, for small business owners, it's very, very helpful tool.
Invaluable, yeah. Sometimes you're up at 3 a.m. in the morning and like you can't call Yulia. Yulia says, hey, look, it's 3 a.m., Diana. Like, what are we doing here? But you can go back and forth with Claude, which is, I think, absolutely amazing. Diana, let them know how they can get in contact with you and who you serve.
So check out the Limelight Hub on our Instagram, on our LinkedIn. I'm Diana Bukowska. I'm more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. And also, if you'd like to read more about our method, check out our website, thelimelihthub.com. And also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me through any kind of, it can be an email, connect@thelimelihthub.com. And I work with people who are afraid of public speaking. No matter you're doing, if you need my help, I'm there.
Amazing. What an episode. I love your energy, Diana.
Thank you, likewise. It was such a huge pleasure to be here. And also, you're creating this amazing atmosphere. I feel like home here. It's just... And we met for the first time today. So
I appreciate you, my sister. I appreciate you. She leads sales, Anna Bukowska, and we are out.